Hello, everybody. This is Matthew Brand. Welcome to the Man Creed Podcast. And today I want to talk about something that isn't very often discussed. Well, actually, it is. It's very often discussed. And this is this man versus women culture we've been developing, especially online, right? Women, they're mad at men. They talk about the patriarchy and how men are dogs. And, you have people like Cynthia G, who I find is very insulting, right? And they calls them trash bandits and or something. I don't know. It calls them all kinds of dusty and stuff like that, right? And she's typically talking about black men, but regardless, she's black as well. But regardless, I find it's the insulting nature of the whole thing. And then you reverse it, you have people like Fresh and Fit who are also very insulting towards women and just kind of treat them all like they're nothing but gold digging 304s. If you don't know what a 304 is, type it in the calculator and flip it upside down. My point is that's very insulting to because they're treating it like that's the vast majority of women when it's probably like a very small percentage, right? These are the Instagram models, the women who show their body for attention and stuff. Like that's a particular personality type. Now, well, I will agree with people who are a little bit more reasonable. Some people don't think this guy is, but I think he's just more blunt than unreasonable, and that would be Kevin Samuels, or people like Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, or the men and women from I think it's Tribe something. I apologize for not remembering your name correctly, but I would say that's more also a more man centered channel, right? These people, when they come after women, are often looking at them like they're the outliers, but they're pointing out the fact that this culture of being maybe a gold digger or whatever the case may be leaking towards women who otherwise would not have done similar things, right? Who otherwise wouldn't have ended up in bad situations if they hadn't been soaking up some of that culture or some of that mindset. And because these women are, they're typically Instagram models, they're the loudest voice, right? They're the squeaky wheel. A lot of people are hearing them, and they're the ones getting the oil one way or the other, whether it be the negative attention or the positive attention. Or, uh, I don't know, the men, they seem like they're bashing women for views. I understand, you know, that both of this is going on. However, when it comes to women, I think we kind of understand. Women sometimes feel confused about what men want because a lot of these women are giving women certain advice, but then at the end of the day saying, I don't need no man. Or basically, there's always going to be a man who's willing to do stuff with you, who's willing to date you, settle down with you, whatever, no matter what you do. The confusion is that the kind of man that you want? Usually not. And with men, the advice they're getting, you know, is because women, I don't want to say they're simpler, but we know what women want when it comes to the base attraction, right? They like men who are tall, fit, have decent income and, some type of status, right? So they like, physically, they like tall and fit. Status wise, they like uh, typically, some a job with a good name to it, right? Sounds good on paper, and then they want a guy who, may has a decent income, and what was there's like one more thing, um, tall, fit, has decent income, and time to spare, right? Good personality, and time, enjoyable to be around. This is to kind of sum that part up. So they want all that. That's that's what a lot of guys get. Like, okay, be that, and you'll find the kind of woman you want. The problem I find with that is this the charm. If you ever heard of a book or there's a graphic novel series, it's also I think a Telltale game called Fable. Now I don't know if this character is actually in Fable or not, but there's a character. Well, I'm sorry. Let me reiterate that. It's based around fairy tale characters, but I don't know if this character is in a Telltale game, which may be a little bit more popular than the actual book. It's called The Wolf Among Us. Is the Telltale game, but I don't know if this character is in the Telltale game. However, he is a very prominent character in the graphic novel series, and you know him as Prince Charming, right? He's a common fairy tale character. You've heard of him. Well, in the book or whatever, Prince Charming has a very special ability. he's charming. Shocker. However, he's really good at charming people. However, he can't maintain long term relationships. He's very bad at long term relationships. I didn't finish the series. I don't know how that goes on long term. But in my opinion, if you do uh, notice with a lot of these podcasts and a lot of these male advice things and such and such, what you'll find is they kind of go on a base level that they assume men are already good at relationships, but they're just bad at attracting a woman. And that's typically not the case. A lot of men, once they figure out what women want, they can attract a woman. It's just you have to have more than what they do, right? If you know if they're a certain height, you have to be taller, right? Some women are, oh, I'm only dating a guy over 6. That's the minority of people. Most women want a guy who's taller than them. And honestly, the taller ones are a little bit less picky because there's so few guys that are taller than them. They're just, okay, you're a little taller than me. Good, we're good to go. It's a big plus because they realize how hard it is to find somebody like that. Whereas the women who are more average height, who are like, what? You're not 5'10"? What? Like they're the ones who are a little bit more picky about it. That being said, let's be honest. Being tall, having money, being having the personality that's easy to be around, and a good status job does not mean you are good at relationships. Does not mean you're not a dog. Doesn't mean that you treat women right. That just means that initially on the onset you're better at picking women up. As a matter of fact, beta men are much more known to have better marriages than get men who consider themselves alphas, because the alpha men are good at the initial attraction that doesn't translate to long-term relationship. The personality does, but that doesn't mean the habits do, right? If a guy is completely focused on what he's accomplishing, the woman is often going to become something in the background. Women don't like being in the background. Men don't like being in the background. It's not a sexist thing. People don't like being in the background. They want to be a primary component of your life. And if you're just like, hey, I'll see you when I have time, I'm busy focusing on whatever I'm working on, sometimes if you find somebody who meshes well into that, and as a matter of fact helps you, that's good. But if you find somebody who is a hindrance to that, or they just want to see you for a good time here and there, that gets old, especially if you're talking about marrying that person. So some people are completely okay with that. Some people have a culture where they're used to that, but some people really don't care for that. They're looking to travel and they're looking to spend time and they're looking to do this. This is why a lot of women you've seen recently, they're talking about, oh, I'd rather date a scammer, whatever that means, than a 9 to 5 guy, because they know a scammer can have everything that they're looking for, right? They can have the money, the time, whatever. Now, it's a short term aspiration, right? It's still not long term because scamming is not a long term career. Maybe a few people, a very small percentage of scammers will be able to get away with it long term, but you scam the wrong person and you're both getting screwed, right? And that, right, you're just playing the odds. You can only roll the dice so many times. Some people get what they need and leave, but once again, I don't really even know what they're talking about with scammers. So hey, if you know what they mean when they're talking about scamming, please leave it in the comments. I implore you, right? I insist, please leave it in the comments to kind of tell me what they're specifically talking about when they mean scamming. Anyway, that being said, this is kind of the poor thing, and I noticed this way back even when they were doing the pickup artist stuff, right? I was never into the pickup artist community, but I did get to the point where I was dating a lot, like an excess of a lot, and it kind of got to the point where I kind of figured out like, okay, I can get a woman, right, but that doesn't mean it would last. And I've always wanted something that would last. I never really wanted to just kind of pick up women. But it's way easier to pick up women and just do stuff than have a relationship that's lasting. Those are two completely different mindsets. So a lot of these men, they're criticizing women, but they're not providing you the essence that you need for a long-term relationship. And same thing with these women. They're telling you, okay, this is how you get what you want now, but for what, 10 minutes, right? For a night? They're not really telling you how to pick up decent men. Think about it. None of them are really telling you how to pick up men. They're just telling you what they don't like about men. That's not beneficial to your life if you all you're doing is bashing the other sex, right? And these men, like I said, they are teaching you somewhat how to pick up women or what women are looking for, and how to become more. You know, if you focus on your goals, you will find women along the way. Just make time for it when you do. But they don't often tell you, like, where do you pick up women? Where do you find these women? What do you do? You know, where do you locate these women to date? To me, I mean, you can go on online dating sites and pretty much any type of community situation you'll have where there's a lot of people, you'll find it. Just look for people who look for something extracurricular that involves people your age. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, when you say extracurricular, you might be thinking like a little class. It could be a job, or, you know, it could be a job, a class, a little group get together, anything like that. If there's enough people there who are single and you've got some type of charisma, you'll find a girl. The issue is you're only going to get one or two per group. Unless you're a teenager, you're probably going to get one or two per group, because then you're going to be the dude, right? They don't want. There's no competition there. Women are kind of competitive, so you may, even if you make your cycle through the whole group, you're not going to be able to have a relationship with one of them, because some of the people are just going to be spiteful of you over the relationship, or spiteful of her, right? If they really want you, I call it peeing on you, right? They'll let everybody know that they like you and they're attracted to you. Whoever blurts it out the first is the one who gets to claim you, right? And unless some other woman wants you so bad she's willing to step on the other girl's territory, that's a whole nother subject. It's a whole nother subject, sorry. But you let me know what you think, and please put in the comments, what's a scammer?